Good morning, Year 6. It's Wednesday, the 27th of January, and our learning objective for our reading session today is to draw inferences justifying these with evidence. So we're focusing the last lesson on exactly the same as we've done on Tuesday and Wednesday, thinking about those inferences using our detective skills to find out what's going on. So when we do things like our tests, there are many different types of inference questions. But they all want you to do the same thing, use your detective skills. So today we're going to look at 3 different questions. We're going to look at one which has 1 mark, one which has 2 marks, and one which has 3 marks. So here's question 1. It says, using the page starting the next day, how do you know that the crowd were feeling nervous? Okay, so it's a 1 mark question. So I want you to think, how do you know? We did discuss this when I was reading the text. I've popped that slide of the next day on just below here. So have a look at it. And how did you know they were feeling nervous? What did they do? What did the text say? And I'd like that written in a full sentence, please. The next day, all marvelled as Pig strode towards the ball court. A magnificent jaguar cloak hung from his shoulders, and brilliant quetzal feathers streamed from his headdress. Then the people grew silent as the Ullah announced the arrival of Chak in the sky above. The rain god nodded his readiness to the Akin May. With shaking hands, the priest held the ball aloft. "Begin," he cried, and cast it into the court. So your answer to that should have been something to do with how the people grew silent when Chak's arrival was announced. And that would tell you that they were feeling nervous about the whole situation. So here we're using the same page as the previous question. And it says, using the page the next day, what impression do you get of the priest? Use evidence to back up your answer. So we've discussed this in class before about how we get 3 marks. So to get a 3-mark question, you need to have 2 points and 1 piece of evidence. We often say maybe give 2 pieces of evidence in case one isn't quite right. But you'll get 1 point for a point, another point for a second point, and your 3rd point will be for your evidence. So I want you to have a look at that page now. Can you give 2 points and 1 piece of evidence? The next day, all marvelled as Pig strode towards the ball court. A magnificent jaguar cloak hung from his shoulders, and brilliant quetzal feathers streamed from his headdress. Then the people grew silent as the Ullah announced the arrival of Chak in the sky above. The rain god nodded his readiness to the Akin May. With shaking hands, the priest held the ball aloft. "Begin," he cried, and cast it into the court. So here, I would have been thinking, my impression of the priest is that he's quite nervous, okay? So that would be my first point. My evidence to back that up would be that the text says with shaking hands, okay? So when he popped that ball into place, his hands were shaking. So that's my first point and my piece of evidence. My second point, is that the priest is very important. And my evidence to back this up is that he is in charge of this really important game between Chak and Pick. So they haven't picked anybody to run this game, okay? It's between a god and somebody who thinks that they can defeat him. So that would be my second point and my evidence. So this time we are looking at a 2-mark question. So it says, look at the page starting again the old priest. So I've popped that underneath for you. Give 2 things that suggest it was a fierce battle. So it's have a look at the text and then try and answer that question. Remember, it's 2 marks, so you need 2 points. It clearly says there, give 2 things. Make sure they are different things. Again, the old priest tossed the ball into play. At that moment, Chak loosened a score of lightning bolts. They fell with blinding fury, tearing the earth and spinning the ball toward the girl. Quetzal flew from Pig's head and snatched the ball with her talons. Yet the lightning was stronger than she. Still clutching the ball, Quetzal was driven through the ring. "One for me," thundered Chak. He came down from the clouds, and his colossal form dwarfed the tallest temples. "Now I will break this tie." Okay, so we're looking for two things which suggest it was a fierce battle. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that lightning bolts were brought into this battle. Okay, if you were just playing a game and you were just going to see who wins, you won't be throwing lightning into it, would you? Okay, so it's fierce, it's dangerous. So that's going to be my first point. My second point is going to be about the part where it says he came down from the clouds with his colossal form dwarfed the tallest temples. Now I will break this tie. So there, now I will break this tie. I can just imagine, I'm inferring how Chak is speaking to him. Okay, he's not just saying, "Oh, I'm going to beat you. I think I'll win." No, okay, he's being fierce. He's got that tone of voice telling him he's going to break it. He's going to break the tie. He's not just going to beat him, he's going to break the tie. Okay, so again, it's suggesting that fierceness, that violence that's in this battle. So you should have been able to mark your own questions there. Once you've done that, if there's any you're not sure of, just leave them and we will mark those for you. And if you could just upload them to Edmodo, that would be brilliant. So that's the end of our 3 reading lessons for this week. Please make sure, although we're not reading the next couple of days, you have got your reading for pleasure, which is on YouTube. And also please make sure that you are accessing your book club books and taking part in the quizzes that are on there. Okay, so I'll speak to you soon, year 6. Bye.